And then I called up 5 other scientific friends and persuaded them to come and testify too. This went on for quite a while. By the middle of May, the prosecutor had scheduled a vacation in the Caribbean. And she asked the judge, could we get a postponement, a delay in the hearing so I can go on my vacation in the Caribbean? The judge being nice, and okay, fine, we'll take a week off. And she went off to the Caribbean. As it happened, I went to Cold Spring Harbor for another scientific meeting, and there I met Rich Roberts, who had been that first prosecution expert witness. I said, Rich, did you ever actually look at the evidence? And Rich said, no, I was testifying about DNA in general. So I grabbed Rich, pulled him into the back room, closed the door, took out copies of those X-ray films, held them up, and I said, what do you think? And he agreed it was terrible. So we came up with a plan. Rich was going to call all the scientists who had testified for the prosecution. I called all the scientists who had testified for the defense. We'd meet in a conference room in Manhattan, and we'd all discuss the evidence together. Now, apparently, this sort of thing isn't typically done in criminal cases. I heard later it's never been done in criminal cases, but what did I know? So we met, we got together, we looked at the evidence. After a day of reviewing all this, the verdict amongst the scientists was unanimous. The evidence really was schmutz. So we wrote up a statement, everybody signed their name, we sent it off to the judge. The prosecutor gets back from the Caribbean, finds out that all of her witnesses have now switched sides. I thought she was going to fold there, but she dutifully soldiered on for several more weeks. And finally, 15 weeks after the beginning of this pre-trial hearing, both sides rest. Judge Shineland takes a month to write an opinion, and when it comes out, it says, what else could it possibly say? The DNA evidence is not admissible. So we'd won. We'd won our point, it was settled, it was over. So what happened? The janitor, Jose Castro, his case never went to trial. While the DNA evidence was terrible, it turned out there was a mountain of other evidence linking him to the murder. He pled guilty and went to prison. The U.S. National Academy of Sciences, very concerned by what had come out about DNA fingerprinting from the Castro case, set up a committee to recommend standards for the quality of DNA fingerprinting, which in fact has worked and led to the DNA fingerprinting quality we have today. Life Codes Corporation, terminally embarrassed by their performance in this case, quietly went out of business. Me, I went back to Boston to work on the Human Genome Project. The Genome Project was heating up. It was an exciting time working on it. But I get phone calls. I got phone calls from defense attorneys and prosecutors and judges asking me to come testify in their DNA fingerprinting cases. I got a call from Judge Lance Ito in the O.J. Simpson case, asking me to go testify in the O.J. case. To all of this, I said, no. I've got my work, I've got to focus on that work, I just can't get involved in all this. But much worse than this, I got letters. I got a handwritten letter from an inmate in a Texas penitentiary saying, I read about the Castro case. Will you help me?